Hey everybody, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Straight Jacket White Rabbit. My name's Adam, and as always, I'll be your host. So, I kind of wanted to get into what's going on in the world today as a precursor to get into our larger topic, which is once again going to be about Project Blue Book, or what I'm calling the edited version of Project Blue Book. Now, I did a video before on Project Blue Book describing all about Monast's uncovering of this conspiracy. Now, before we get into why I think everything that's going on right now is a big indicator that Monast may have been onto something, is this. You guys, look, I know it's been a dividing quite a few years, if not decades. I know that we're not all perfect, and I know that we all don't have the same views, and that's life. That's life as a human. We are our own individual beings with our own feelings, with our own ideas, our own thoughts, and our own ways to process the information that we gather. But more and more, I see people attacking each other needlessly, killing each other needlessly, just being mean in general. And I don't mean to sound like the little kid who, he's being mean, but I mean really hateful. I mean deeply, deeply hateful. And I'm not just talking about the incident recently with all the backlash people are getting from what they're posting about a murder on a college campus, Charlie Kirk. But that is part of it. It's all part of it, you guys. And I don't care what side you're on, the left or the right. Nobody should be glorifying the death of people who did nothing to deserve it. Nobody should be glorifying the death of people in general, especially people who have families. But even more so, just human beings in general, man. We shouldn't be celebrating each other's deaths. We shouldn't be trying to cause each other's deaths. We certainly shouldn't be killing each other. And we now have come to a point in our civilization where words have become enough to kill for. Not actions, words. And this is not just an American thing. Like I said, this is not about just simply Charlie Kirk. This is a broader picture, you guys. This is happening in countries around the globe. And when I say around the globe, I literally mean around the globe, okay? Think about it right now. Can you name all of the countries that have huge amounts of civil unrest going on right now? Pretty much all of Europe, with very few exceptions. From Ukraine to Hungary to the Balkans to over in London in Europe, the UK area. Then there's, obviously, Russia, and there's going further out the other way. There's the issues right now going on in Israel and Palestine. And just lots of property in the Middle East right now has a lot of civil unrest going on. Everywhere seems to have this going on. America, South America, Russia, the East, and China. Japan's got major things that's been going on with civil unrest. It just seems to be spreading like a virus. Now, I've been saying for years about the internet, guys, the internet was supposed to be such a great thing for humanity, and it turned out to be one of the worst things, in my opinion, that humanity's ever done. Not because of its possibilities, because it has great potential to do amazing things, but because of the fact that it has taught generations to not think about the implications, the effect that their words have on other people. Now, I know that a lot of people are going, well, words can't hurt you, and I agree with that sentiment, okay? But people online have now grown accustomed to being able to say whatever they want without repercussions, is where I'm going. You know, when I was even a little kid and the internet wasn't as big of a thing, you said very disrespectful things to somebody, you were prepared to get in a physical altercation because you knew that the consequences of what came out of your mouth were going to come. Now, with the invention of the internet and chat rooms and forums and things like Reddit and, all these other platforms, people can spout the most bile-inducing, disgusting, I'm going to even go as far as to say anti-human things that I've ever heard. And I am not targeting a specific group. I don't care if you're in the left, right, center, Green Party. It doesn't matter. There is no excuse for humans, you guys, to treat each other like this. And here's where this is going to tie into Bluebeam, you guys. Okay, so Bluebeam was uncovered by, or a lot of people say, Monast. Now, Monast was a Canadian journalist, as I said in my other video, and he had steps that Bluebeam was going to take to enact this one world government, and in his belief, one world religion. Now, I don't know about the one world religion thing, but I am a very big proponent that there are people behind the scenes worldwide, the elites, which I don't even like calling them that. We'll just say the shadow governments. I do believe there is a plan for a one world government to be enacted. I've believed this for a long time because of the evidence that keeps mounting up for it, quite frankly. But everyone kept picking on Monast's theories about this because they kept saying, well, we don't have that technology, or we don't have this, or you could never get all of these people in line to do this. Going back and forth, citing different reasons why his theory isn't true. But I want to go through this with you real quick and have you understand why it is that the entire section where Monast was talking about the projection of these realistic holographic projections of these religious figures worldwide, it's an unnecessary step, and I'm going to explain this, okay? Step one in the conspiracy, you guys, was dismantling religious knowledge. The reason that this was an included step was simply because of the fact that you needed to dismantle the religions of the world in order to gain everybody's compliance in a new one-world government. The people pulling the strings deeply believe this, and I believe that they are willing to do about anything to accomplish this goal. This is not a war on Christians or on the Jewish people or on the Muslim people. This is an attack outright on all religions that I believe has been missed by mainstream media for the most part for the better part of 25 to 30 years. Now, when Monast came out with this in the early 90s, you guys, his original thing that he was talking about, this part of his plan, or not his plan, I'm sorry, the conspiracy that he was speaking about, said that there would be a grand space show, the second step. The space show would use 3D holographic projections to create some kind of a light show where you could see prophets and gods tailored to each religion. That's not an unnecessary step, you guys. For the last 25 to 30 years, most, and I'm almost willing to say all, I could be wrong on one or two accounts, but I am pretty sure all major religions, if not, or most major religions, if not all of them, have had a steady decline, you guys. And I'm talking everything from Buddhists to Christians to Muslims to the Jewish people. I'm talking all of them. They've just been in decline. And people around the world scientist communities at least, were shrugging this off to, well, we've become a more enlightened people, so religion is going the way of the dodo. I don't believe that those two are connected. I don't believe that people who believe in religion are necessarily unenlightened at all. But once again, this is the official narrative that these so-called educated people would have you believe. That the reason that these things, and I'm not saying there's not spikes in attendance, guys, okay? I'm aware that, yes, like right now we're actually going through one in the Christian religion where it's an upward spike, but it's a relatively small spike when you considering the slope it's been going downhill for 25 to 30 years. They do have these little spikes in attendance, but it keeps declining. And this is why I'm saying that we don't need the space show, the grand space show step in this conspiracy for it to still be a very valid conspiracy. I believe what they did is they just sidestepped this small step and did it another way with multimedia, all kinds of disinformation, starting proxy wars. They've been slowly tearing at every religion for decades. So much so that we all kind of walk around now, and a lot of people on this earth are starting, like I said, to treat each other like non-player characters, NPCs from video games. Oh, we got a dead Bobby. That's not a big deal because, we can just, move on with our day because he's a non-player character. People used to, at least for the most part, have common decency when it came to things like murders. Now you have people making dance videos because someone they didn't like on television died, or someone they didn't have, that they had a different opinion on, religiously dies, or another, rival gang member dies, or a member of a different political party dies. I mean, it goes on and on and on. There are people on this world in ever increasing numbers who do the sickest thing and celebrate murder. It's perfectly fine to defend yourself, and even to defend yourself with lethal force, as long as, it's not like, you can't go overkill and beat someone to death because they sneezed on you. That's not obviously correct. That's not a moral thing to do. There's no moral compass in a lot of people now. I'm noticing this so much, you guys. And I believe that this has in a large part to do with the fact that people have been driven away from their religions in droves. Humans need a moral compass. Now, religion is not the only way to have a moral compass, okay? I'm not saying non-religious people don't have a moral compass, but there are a lot of people who, without that moral compass, that threat of a heaven or hell, that, I'm not even going to say threat of heaven or hell, but that the idea of something else, something greater than themselves, who will be judging them, I guess. That's not really the word I want to use, but is actually keeping a lot of these people in check. And I don't think most of you understand, or at least most of the people I've spoken with understand, how many people this really is, you guys. There are a lot of violent, extreme people right now. And the only reason they haven't done anything is because they don't think it's morally okay. Now, whether your morals are connected to a church or a religion or not, that's another story. But I do believe that through multimedia outlets and, like I said, and different other ways that they've done this, that they've completely eviscerated the need to destroy religions like the original conspiracy called for, which was basically showing all these religions they were wrong, and then they were going to unveil this new thing or this new person or this new entity to worship. I don't think we need to do that anymore, because the whole goal of this, you guys, was to get us off our moral compasses and bickering amongst each other more than we already were. And it's worked. I mean, Look, oh, like I said, look around the world. People are murdering each other in every country around the world in increased numbers. We're bickering. We can't agree on anything as a species. You guys, I don't care where you're from. We're all humans. We should be treating each other with human decency, regardless of where you get your moral compass from. It should be human decency to, not mock somebody who just died, not, provoke somebody into doing something stupid that would harm themselves. And I'm not saying by any mean that people being stupid and doing stupid stuff like swallowing a fish hook, I mean, I think that's more Mother Nature sorting out survival of the fittest when people do that kind of dumb stuff. But I'm talking about people committing acts of violence simply because of disagreements or because imaginary lines on a map or because of financial strife. These are times when we should come together as a people, but we haven't. And the reason we haven't is because all these different places and news medias and things have pushed the narrative of being divisive. Oh, we can't do this because these people won't like it. Oh, we should do that because these people will like it. Oh, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Now, like I said, we're skipping over step 2 in the theory for Project Bluebeam as far as the space show goes with these gods. But going to step 3, it talks about manipulating human consciousness, leveraging by advanced technology, in other words, using ELF, which is extremely low frequency, or VLF, very low frequencies, to mind control or push individuals and large populations into a state of hyper anxiety and agitation. I just released a video on this. This is happening now. Our houses are being inundated with these signals that literally do these things to you. They make you anxious. They make you aggravated. They make you, foggy headed to where you're not thinking clearly. You can do this to people, and I believe it is being done to people currently. So that's pretty good for the beginning of step 3, manipulating human consciousness. So if we've done the other steps and skipped step 2 because they've already accomplished it a different way, then you have where they say step 4, which is to... Step 4 is basically where they're supposed to stage a supernatural invasion, be it of fake aliens, otherworldly monsters, whatever it is that they're supposed to come out with. There's been different reports of what exactly they would look like or what it would look like as far as staging a supernatural invasion. But this would create a global panic and hysteria that would be driving every one of us to accept the authority of this new one world government. This final step is meant to be the thing that pushes us all over the edge to say, yes, we should all come together to go against this evil thing, and thereby accepting the creation of this new world order, this one world government. Now, as far as the invasion part goes, I don't know if it's here yet, but a lot of people who believe this theory, you guys, a lot of people who believe in this conspiracy are now citing the 3-Eye Atlas asteroid. Comet? Is it a comet or an asteroid? I think it's a comet, but I'm not sure. I think it's a comet. Anyways, the 3-Eye Atlas is this, if for those of you who don't know, it's bigger than Manhattan. The thing is huge. Is coming very close to us this year, all the way until the end of this year in December. It's been predicted quite a few things, and they all keep kind of changing. First, it wasn't going to come anywhere near us. Then it's not going to come close enough to Mars to hit it. Now they're saying it might actually impact Mars, and other people saying that the passing of it near Mars is going to cause it to change its trajectory and come near Earth. While other people are just saying that the 3I Atlas is not a comet at all. There are reputable people who believe that this could be the start of the false invasion theory connected to Project Bluebeam. That this object would be detected in deep space, which 3I Atlas was detected in deep space entering our solar system. And here's the thing. It's really creepy how much this is starting to be blasted in the news. Like when Oumuamua came around, there was a few people said, oh my gosh, it could be alien technology. But most scientists were like, no, it's not. Most news networks were like, yeah, and this one scientist says this, but he's kind of crazy type of deal. They kind of blew it off. This time around, 3I Atlas is getting a lot more coverage, you guys, and a lot more focus on the supposed alien fact. Could this be something that they're going to show to us either via 3D holographic projection or a real life reverse engineered craft that we have? Those of you know my beliefs on our aliens visiting Earth, extra dimensional beings, whatever you want to call them. I do believe that we have somewhat re-engineered their craft so that we do have man-made UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, just not quite to the same level of technology as the originals because they are reverse engineered with our own things. But getting back to this, a lot of people are starting to talk about how 3I Atlas could be this moment of fake alien invasion, which means this could be starting this year as early as between October and December. This could be the start of it. Now, whether or not this is it or not remains to be seen. This could just be a simple, large chunk of space debris. But even if you don't believe in the space and maybe you think aliens are here from other dimensions, there's nothing to really stop them from putting these things into play. Like I said, we have craft that can do things that look close to what these ships can do. At least believable enough that I believe they could pull off a coup, as in attacking several major population sources around the world and then blaming it on these, alien or foreign or, extra dimensional beings. But it really wouldn't take that much of a push right now where our planet is at this moment. And I mean, look at the totality of the situation here, okay? You've got global unrest, okay? I mean, literally almost everywhere. I watched a news story the other day of a Buddhist getting attacked, you guys. What, did he pray too loud? There was a Buddhist monk sitting on a sidewalk meditating. And some kid runs up and just bam, decks him right in the side of the head. I mean, full force, knocked this poor man out cold. The guy was arrested. But that's not the point. The point is people are attacking people simply now for meditating on the street or meditating in a park is what it was. But I mean, you're attacking people simply based off nothing but your hatred for their kind. And I've got to think that this is boiling up from somewhere. We're not designed to hate each other, you guys. I don't want to believe that, and I refuse to believe that, because I don't hate anyone who's not trying to kill me or my family. I mean, if you're not directly trying to actually physically kill me, and I don't mean this weird version everyone's, well, you're talking about this, so that's violence, that's you creating violence against me. No, okay, words do not create violence. I don't care what anyone argues in that point, okay? I will reply with the thing that that you used to tell your 3-year-old little child, okay? Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Okay, can they hurt your feelings? Yeah, if you let them. You're in charge of your feelings, you guys. Words are not something to kill people over, but in this day and age, it is getting more and more. I don't want to say acceptable, but that's kind of what it is. The general public, when polled, thinks it's okay to go hands-on with people over a difference of ideas. I mean, I really hope this doesn't become a trend that's permanent. If this isn't the starting of Project Bluebeam, but can you imagine living in a world where everyone's like this, where everyone you meet will just randomly risk attacking you because they don't like something you said? We're better than that as a species. I really do believe this, guys. No matter what your faith or religious beliefs or your poverty level or your, being rich, even, I don't care. Like I said, it doesn't matter. You're human. Every one of you listening to this, no matter where you are in the world, you're you. You're a person. We're all part of the same species. We are all part of mankind and womankind. I'm all for that, equality. We're all part of the same species. We are all humans. We should really start thinking more about protecting each other instead of pointing out and dividing each other with these petty differences. Because while we're fighting amongst each other, you guys, the sad truth is that these people behind the scenes are getting exactly what they want. These shadow governments and these shadow military programs, they're all getting what they want. We're all busy bickering and fighting amongst ourselves, and most of us are not paying attention to the things that are going on around us, the signs of the things that are being hidden from us, right out in the open. And we're not noticing them because we're too busy quarreling with one another over the dumbest things that you could possibly think of. You have two different people with two different religious views. Should they want to kill each other over that? No. You're all more than welcome to pray to and believe in and invoke whatever religious doctrine you want, as long as you're not hurting people. Now, once it crosses into being violent or hurting people, that's a whole nother thing. But I really do believe that we need to come together to stop these types of things from happening, or we are going to be looking at a one-world government, you guys. Now, did all of Monast's conspiracy Bluebeam come true? No. But large chunks of it have. And from what I understand of this conspiracy, that I do believe is on the table, at least at minimum, worldwide with these leaders and these shadow governments. If I've got to believe that it's on the table with all these shadow governments, and I've seen with my own eyes all these other steps of it becoming a reality, just one by one, I've got to start thinking about, when is the end part going to get here? When is the end game going to strike? Are they going to plan on doing it this year? Is this comet or asteroid, the 3i Atlas, really going to be this false flag invasion ship? I've joked in the past about there being, civil war, as far as different countries go, because it seems like a lot of countries were headed that direction. But now I'm actually nervous that it might occur, because it's really not a joke, even though I was making light of it. I was making light of it mostly in the sense of I didn't really think it would happen. But every year, you guys, it seems like the world is slipping closer to the degree of mistrust and the degree of anger that would be a prime point, if this conspiracy is true, to enact its last step, which, like I said, is to create global panic and hysteria by using a supernatural invasion of, either fake aliens or fake beings from other dimensions, or a fake perceived threat, an imaginary threat on Earth by some other outside force. So, I mean, this is, I guess, what I'm asking is, what do you guys think about, the state of the world today in conjunction with Monast's conspiracy about, the creation of a one world government, a one world order, a new world order? Do you think this is a step further towards that? Do you think that this is one of the final steps towards that? Do you think the whole thing is just, fluff and not real? I really do want to hear you guys' opinions about this. I love the way that my chat, you guys, by the way, you guys are awesome. I love the way that my chat talks to each other, you guys. I wish the whole world were like you guys, to where you guys can actually have very hugely varying opinions on one situation or two situations. And even though you guys all disagree or have different viewpoints, you're not in here calling each other names or being mean or hateful towards each other. In fact, I've said numerous times, you guys, the chat in here and the chat in my brother's channel as well, you guys honestly give me a little bit of hope for the future, because you are people of a like mind as me and my brother are, about just being decent. And I really do appreciate that, you guys, every one of you. Now, there's always going to be one or two people who spoil the party, and those people, I've already blocked a few people, which I don't like doing because, analytics and all. I don't like losing subscribers, but there's been a few people who've put some hateful comments that I've just immediately banned. And will continue to do so, because there's no room for that, you guys. I'm all about everyone being able to share their opinions, and I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on this. Truly, I do. Also, for those of you who don't remember, my memberships are up. If you buy a membership to my channel, I will include you in the end credits, as well as all the other cool perks you guys get. So be sure to check that out. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet and you want to subscribe, go ahead and hit that bell symbol. Make sure you get all the notifications. And I think that's going to do it for today, you guys. Once again, this is Straight Jacket White Rabbit. My name's Adam, and I enjoyed having you guys here today and talking about whether or not this is the time of Project Bluebeam or not. So I look forward to my next video with you guys, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Treat each other with trust, love, and affection. Okay? There's enough hate in the world already. Let's try not to add to it. Good night.